Hey man, what's up? I'm Ben Flanders. We're out with Scott Stapp on the Proof of Life tour right now. On the last leg, actually, and yeah man, let's check out the fiddles. Let's do it. My main is this Violet 24, custom 24, with the piezo system in it, so it's actually the P24 that they have. I love it. I'm using it on this tour as the main. We usually switch them between tours just so we don't get bored. Well, usually for this one, I'm kind of always on the bridge pickup with it because we're kind of doing a lot of chunky stuff. Since the main, it's a drop C sharp, and well, we do What If and Bullets and Minor Prison and a lot of that stuff. If I'm going to clean turns, I always go in that middle position between the outside coil of the neck and then the bridge. I like that a lot. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm never using the piezo system on this. If it calls for it on, you know, a certain song that Scott wants to do, I'll use it. Then I always go 10, wind them all out for that. I'm never really messing with this unless I'm doing kind of ambient stuff and floating between with, you know, delays and reverb and stuff. But pretty much, man, I'm just rocking on this guitar because it's for the, you know, most of the Creed songs are in this tuning unless we're going open. So pretty much that's all I'm kind of doing with this one. Diodarios across the board, 10 to 46, unless we're doing, you know, drop tuning stuff and then it changes. But for this guy and a couple of the other ones, just always Diodario, man. Always. This one's pretty badass. And this guy, this one we're doing in the Dad tuning, the Tremonti open tuning that he kind of made famous. I think it's we have a half step down, but if it wasn't half step down, it'd be D-A-D-A-D-D. And it's a lot of fun, man. It's just an open one, you know. Pretty much just throw it around and just hit whatever, and it'll sound pretty good. But this one, I'm always wound out here, man. Always. This bridge pickup, rocking out on it. And we only use this for 2 songs currently. It's Sacrifice and Faceless Man. And yeah, so I mean, this one stayed in this tuning since I got it. Just sounded right for it, and this pickup's super hot. It feels like it's wound way tighter than some of the other ones, but I'm loving this one. I've always been a bar guy. Tech won't let me use a Floyd Rose. Might kill him with that later on, but yeah, man, I've always been a bar guy. Even with Strats, I've always had them. I'm a huge Jeff Beck fan and Steve Vai guy, and so I'm always using them. And for the ambient stuff, man, you do the crying whale sounds as some guitar players might use it. I love it. And this guy, this is one of the standard single cuts. And this one's, I've only had this for a few months, and I'm really digging it. Pickups are stock on it. They did like a partnership with Seymour Duncan for these, the standard 24s and single cuts. Pretty much the whole S2 line, and I really like them. I'm digging them. What's cool about these, I mean, you got the toggle up there, kind of like a Les Paul, and then you can tap them, which is cool for single coil use. I'm digging this. It's a cool guitar, actually. And I use it for one song comes out. But last tour we were using it for a couple more, but kind of switched everything up since we're doing South America in a couple weeks, so I don't want to take some of my favorite guitars for that factor, so we kind of switched everything up this tour. But this is Dad a full step down, so it's like the Tremonti tuning, the open tuning, full step down, and we're using 11s on this probably. Diodario across the board again. My absolute favorite guitar. My first PRS I ever owned. It's a custom 24 from 2009. It's actually, it's not a private stock, but it was a limited run they did, so only 16 of these remain. It's got an all rosewood neck on it, which is gorgeous. I've beaten the crap out of this guitar. I love this guitar. I'll never get rid of this one. It's got nicks and bumps everywhere. It's great. The more it gets beaten up, the more I love her. It's actually got 5909s in it, which they don't make those anymore. But I love them. They're actually my favorite PRS pickups. Yeah, this is half step down, but standard, so it's not dropped, it's D sharp. And on this one, I'm using it for 1, arms wide open, 1 last breath. This has been the main before, but like I said, we're doing South America, and I'm not flying with this guitar. I never will fly with this guitar. Just won't happen. I'm too scared. But this is usually the main if we're doing just straight US tours, and I mean, the amount of nicks on this thing is disgusting. I love it. All the belt rash I got on her, and and I've had this thing for years. I mean, I got this when I was 15 years old, so I pretty much learned on this guitar, and yeah, definitely my favorite, hands down. Now this guy's not a PRS, but this is the Frankenstrat. Pretty much, if I was called for the Poison gig, this was what I would use. This is like just completely disgusting. I lit this guitar on fire. It used to be a white guitar. And when I was, I think 16 or 17, I lit it on fire. Put the most ugly pickguard I could find on it. And I got an 87 DiMarzio hot stack in there, Texas Special, and then a Seymour Duncan stacked humbucker. So it's a JB, which is awesome. I got a huge neck on this guitar. It's like a telephone pole, which I love. And I mean, this thing's just ridiculously ugly, and I love it. But yeah, I just brought this out on this tour. First tour I've used it on, but for Scott. But I've used this on a lot of other gigs, and I love this one to death. It's good. I'm using this. It's just standard. I'm using this on Jesus Was a Rockstar, the only Proof of Life song we have this tour. And so just one song, and it does the job great. It's my bluesy rock guitar, so it works for that. So I got a Mike Mushock out with us, which PRS discontinued, which is, I don't know why, man. I gotta tell those guys to bring these back out, because this thing's awesome. I swear this weighs like 35 pounds. It's heavy as crap. Pickups are, one of the pickups is stock. That's stock, and then I put a bare knuckle on the bridge, which is pretty awesome. It's rocking, very heavy. I mean, it's just chunky, man. I'm using 13s on this in A sharp. I mean, if we could go lower, we'd love to go lower. I mean, I'd go down to F sharp if we could. This is a 12 string. This is actually Scott's, which is a 12 string Taylor. I actually don't know much about this guitar. 65. It's 655. It's a pretty cool guitar. Sounds great. Super, super pretty. Really open sounding. I love it. And then I have mine as well as a backup. But I don't know the 12 string. So Scott, he really wanted a 12 string for What's It's Life For, which was the first acoustic song that we added. Now doing Don't Stop Dancing as well. And this is actually my acoustic, and we're just using it as a backup right now if the 12 string kind of goes down. And I love this. Is an 815 CE. I think it's 2008, so I've had this for quite a few years, and I love it. It's a jumbo. It's huge. It looks massive on me, but I love it. Yeah, it's a guitar. For this gig, I put together a board that I could fly with, and I don't really, for this gig, it doesn't require a bunch of effects, man. It's just delay, chorus, and phaser. That was all on the Creed records and reverb, so I thought let's keep it simple and, try and get something that I can have consistently across the board. If we're doing international stuff, it just makes everything so much more simple. So pretty much, I got one distortion pedal, and I'll use it for literally one song. I use it for one, and that's a Noble's RDR1. It's my favorite distortion pedal in the world. Super Nashville. I've used that on country gigs and sessions, and for the past 6 years I've never used this to be my main distortion pedal across the board. And then just a Polytune. I got a Strymon El Capistan, which is my favorite small delay pedal. I mean, I tried to keep it compact for this board, man. I wanted it as simple as could be. I got a huge pedal board at home that I use in sessions, and I wanted to keep it simple for this gig, Less dancing, the better, in my opinion. And then I got a phaser that's a Keeley, which is really badass. I love this thing, man. I pretty much use like a ramp on it, which they call it, but it's like a slow swell, and I'll use that in What If and in Bullets. So the breakdown of What If, it works really well, and then for Bullets, it's just the intro of that song, so it's only used on literally 1.5 songs. Then the Neo Clone, just chorus, which is great. I use this for Faceless Man, My Own Prison, Arms Wide Open, so only 3 songs. Pretty much the only song, I mean, I try and keep it really close to the record, so whatever Mark was doing when it comes to effects, I didn't really want to overdo it, and just keep pretty true to the record. If that's what I was called for the gig, that's what I want to do, man. And I think that those pedals really do well. I'm not really, most gigs I usually am kind of switching things out a lot, but for this gig, it's pretty across the board, man. Just PRS and a few you know, pedals. So no, I use the amp switcher for my reverb, and that's really it, man. Pretty stock and wireless Audio Technica. They've been a really good to us, and they sound good. Haven't had many RF problems or any dropouts or anything, so I'm digging those. That's it for pedals. The baby. This is a Bogner Shiva 20th anniversary. This is my favorite head I've ever plugged up for the rock stuff. I mean, man, it's thick and it's super warm. Never get many problems with it. Some problems we'll get is, you know, some kind of, we'll tune into the radio stations and stuff because it's point-to-point hand-wired, and I mean, that's just what you got to deal with if you got one of these kind of amps. But man, these are my favorite amps. I've been working with Bogner for 6-7 months, but I actually bought this before I even had to deal with them. I just fell in love with it. I bought this from a GC in Nashville, man, so it was like the only one they had left. 20th anniversary was, I haven't seen one since I bought this one, so I lucked out with it. I love it, man. I mean, the good thing about it, the difference between the 20th and the regular Shiva is that it's just an extra gain, pretty much mode, which for this gig you need to get pretty chunky, so that worked really well for me. It was pretty much this or an Uber Shell, which is what I was coming down with, but I fell in love with this thing, man. I love it to death. And I mean, I'm using clean and distortion out of this, so I mean, really simple across the board. All right, thanks for checking out this video. Go to scottstapp.com for any future dates or anything like that. But